Final Fantasy IV was the first Final Fantasy to be released on the 16-bit Super Nintendo. Twice as powerful as the original Nintendo or NES, the SNES, known as the Super Famicom in Japan, offered top-of-the-range graphics and sound in home video gaming entertainment. 3 months after its initial release, an easier version of the game, dubbed Final Fantasy IV Easy Type, was made for the same console, which was essentially the same game but less challenging. Final Fantasy IV Easy Type was then translated, localized, and even renamed to Final Fantasy II for the American market. Since then, the game has been ported to the WonderSwan Color, the PlayStation 1, and the Game Boy Advance. More recently, the game has been remade for the first time for the Nintendo DS, which was released in Japan in December 2007. The story follows the Dark Knight Cecil, commander of the Red Wings, an airship fleet. Cecil begins to question the orders from his king and is subsequently stripped of his title and position. It doesn't take long for Cecil to work out that evil is afoot, and so he embarks on an adventure to restore peace to the world. Final Fantasy IV was a defining game for the series, a true landmark, and it featured many of the series' firsts. The logo has become the series logo, to be reused with every mainstream installment on a different background. The introduction music, called The Prelude, whilst heard in the first 3 games, is played to its entirety for the first time here. The most defining innovation of Final Fantasy IV was the ATB system, or the Active Time Battle system, that would be used in the majority of the mainstream titles to follow. In the ATB system, time flows continuously during the battle, with enemy and character actions requiring a certain amount of time to execute. Since the clock ticks, even while deciding a character's actions or casting a spell, timing attacks or using magic to alter time's flow is critical. The ATB system was a revolutionary way to keep battles exciting and involving, whilst also adding strategic depth. Final Fantasy IV had its share of unique vehicles, from hovercrafts to airship that could travel to the moon and back. Chocobos also come in multiple formats here. There's the standard yellow land-bound bird and the new black flying version. Also a first, Sid marks an appearance of a playable character here. Once again, he is an engineer who comes to the player's aid on numerous occasions. Bahamut is once again found as a summon spell for the summoner Rydia. Moving away from the previous games where players could choose the classes of their characters, Final Fantasy IV had set character classes for each character. These could not be changed, with the exception of Cecil, who is upgraded from Dark Knight to Paladin as the story progresses. Other playable characters include Kain the Dragoon, Rosa the White Mage, Sid the Engineer, Rydia the Summoner, Teller the Sage, Edward the Bard, Yang the Monk, Palom and Porom the Twin Wizards, Edge the Ninja, and Fusoya, who is also a sage. Once again, the 3rd instalment of the Saga series to be released on the Nintendo Game Boy was renamed to Final Fantasy Legend to increase the sales as usual. For this reason, I shall only mention the game before moving on.